Welcome to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. I'm your host, Molly Watts. If you want to change your drinking habits and create a peaceful relationship with alcohol, you're in the right place. This podcast explores the strategies I use to overcome a lifetime of family alcohol abuse, more than 30 years of anxiety and worry about my own drinking, and what felt like an unbreakable daily drinking habit. Becoming an alcohol minimalist means removing excess alcohol from your life so it doesn't remove you from life. It means being able to take alcohol or leave it without feeling deprived. It means to live peacefully, being able to enjoy a glass of wine without feeling guilty and without needing to finish the bottle. With science on our side, we'll shatter your past patterns and eliminate your excuses. Changing your relationship with alcohol is possible. I'm here to help you do it. Let's start now. Well, hello and welcome or welcome back to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast with me, your host, Molly Watts, coming to you from, it's pretty Oregon right now. Just kind of average. Rainy, sunny, cold, warm, up, down. A few days ago, like a week ago, we were beautiful. We were like 80. It was so gorgeous. And it's back to the high 50s, low 60s, which is pretty typical of springtime here in Oregon. But really what has caught my attention right now is the same thing that caught my attention at this time last year. And that is that it is almost Memorial Day weekend. Next week is Memorial Day. And that is just mind-blowing to me. It was mind-blowing last year. It's mind-blowing again this year. I feel like time just keeps going faster and faster. And I wake up like I feel like it's Christmas and then all of a sudden it's summer. And I don't know what has gone on, but time is just speeding by. And I cannot believe that it is almost Memorial Day weekend, the unofficial start to summer. So I thought we would revisit the episode I did right before Memorial Day last year, which is talking about getting ready for the summer, for holiday weekends, for barbecues and beach trips and backyard gatherings and all the things and holidays, Memorial Day, the 4th of July, Labor Day, all the things that we tend to associate with maybe drinking. At least that's how I used to associate my summers, was pretty much all of the events and all of the times and places that I was going to go and have some extra libations. And I think it's important for us to look towards the summer in a different way. And this episode talks about how to have a peaceful plan for the summer, for the holidays, for everything that's coming. I myself am headed to Southern Oregon to go see Crater Lake over Memorial Weekend. So I will share those thoughts with you next week. Until then, choose peace. I will see you on Thursday. This week on the podcast, we are going to be talking about Memorial Day weekend and that being the unofficial kickoff to summer and those holidays and barbecues and beach days and camping trips and how alcohol is going to be a part of that or not a part of that and how we're going to manage that as we head into it. In this episode, I want to help you head into the weekend, this weekend and the summer, with clarity and confidence. And whether you plan to drink or not, you're going to learn how to support your own peace, to stay curious, and to navigate these social situations without a ton of anxiety. At least that's my hope. And holidays like Memorial Day are loaded with emotional and neurological significance. And there's nostalgia, there's social pressure, and there's often a history of drinking more than you planned, right? We got to be honest with ourselves. I know for myself, like I said, I used to look forward to Memorial Day, looked forward to Monday being a barbecue situation and being a situation to get to have more beers. Like that was kind of the way I looked at it. And that is normal, right? That's normal that's the way that our brains, that we used to include alcohol that way. And now we don't. And so our brains, it's really kind of like these weekends, they really represent a perfect laboratory for learning how change works, how habits work, and how you can not feel powerless to change them for the future. Some of you may I will link all of these episodes that I reference in the show notes, but Dr. Judd Brewer, who's been on this show before, who is a neuroscientist and author of Unwinding Anxiety and the Craving Mind. And FYI, the Unwinding Anxiety is what Judd came on to talk about. But I have recently gone back to listen to The Craving Mind. And I got to say, it is a tool that I maybe haven't referenced often enough. And I want to include that. I will include it in the show notes as well. And in that book, Dr. Brewer extensively talks about the habit loop, and he simplifies that to, cue, behavior, reward. But if you look at it in terms of the holiday weekend, right? So the cue is the holiday weekend, and you smell the grill, you get excited about the sunshine, you get excited about it being summer, anticipating, and you remember what drinking used to mean to you in terms of like this social experience. So somebody offers you a drink. You accept the drink, even if you weren't planning to. And you get that quick dopamine hit, the sense of relaxation or fitting in. And that's what fuels the unconscious patterns, the unconscious behaviors. That's how the habit loop forms. But here's what's empowering about that. Once you are aware of the loop, you're aware of the cue, you're aware of the behavior and the reward, you can interrupt it, right? Through mindfulness, you can observe that feeling of desire, you can notice the thought pattern, and you can choose something different. In his research, Dr. Brewer literally talks about, and his research is all about mindfulness and how mindfulness downregulates the default mode network part of the brain. And the DMN is the area involved in the lower part, involved in rumination, self-referential thinking, and worry. It's kind of going on in the unconscious. It's that part of your brain that replays stories like, this weekend won't be fun without alcohol. Everyone else is drinking. I'll be left out. I always blow it during the holidays. Practicing mindfulness, even just pausing to observe your thoughts with curiosity, reduces activity in the default mode network and helps activate the salience network, which is more present focused and objective. And so this means that you can literally train your brain to stop spiraling down into kind of the negative rumination that might happen and start observing your thoughts in a mindful way that's going to help you rewire those old loops. And for especially emotionally charged things like holidays and big, social gatherings, then you can stay mindful and learn how to incorporate the power of the pause and really rewire those old habit loops, even around things like the holidays. So let's talk about drink plans. All right. I talk a lot about a doable drink plan, and planning ahead for a holiday event doesn't mean that you are like committing to white knuckling through a social situation or declaring I am not drinking at all. It means conscious decisions from your prefrontal cortex, right? That logical executive function part of your brain before you are in the moment. Hey, it's Molly, and I'm here to talk to you about Sunnyside Med. That's right. Sunnyside has a new program that they've been offering that includes medication that can quiet alcohol cravings. It's called naltrexone, and it works by making alcohol less rewarding in your brain. And Sunnyside now offers access to naltrexone 100% online and combined with personalized care. Thousands of people have already joined Sunnyside Med and are cutting their drinking nearly in half. Sunnyside Med doesn't just give you a pill. It is a whole support system to help you reach your goals. I really want you to check it out, so visit sunnyside.co/minimalist to learn more and see if you qualify today. And that's the key difference. I was just talking about this in group coaching this weekend. The difference about training your brain that we make decisions around alcohol before we are in the moment of drinking. That's a key part of a doable drink plan and of changing the behavior for the long term. Contrast that with our limbic system, that lower, the emotional reactive brain. And that's the part that gets triggered when your friend hands you a glass of wine, everyone's laughing, and those old unconscious belief systems just flood in. A simple plan lets your rational, salient, mindful brain try to stay in the driver's seat. And I want you to plan ahead for some prompts or some thoughts that might happen. What do I want to feel during and after this event? What will help me feel proud of myself on Tuesday morning? What can I prepare? How am I going to set myself up for success with some non-alcoholic drinks, a response, an exit plan? I think I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts the other day, and we often build this idea up of what am I going to do when someone offers me a drink. We make that seem like a really big problem for us, like it's really going to make us feel uncomfortable. We got to come up with all these excuses. When the simple answer can just simply be, no, I'm good right now. When someone offers you a drink or anything else that you don't want, say, no, I'm good right now. So I'm good right now. It means I'm good. I don't need that. And it still leaves room for the possibility that you might have something later. So they're not going to hound you. And it also just doesn't leave a lot of room for, oh, why not? It's just, no, I'm good right now. So I really want you to use that when you are going into this weekend. You're not rigidly enforcing rules. You are deciding in advance how to support the future version of yourself. So that's really powerful. So practice with me. No, I'm good right now. Let's talk about Dr. Anna Lembke, who was also here on the show. She is a psychiatrist and the author of Dopamine Nation, a very, very awesome book and one that I know many of you have already read. Her research on the neurobiology of craving is some of the most relevant science for changing your drinking habits. And Dr. Lembke explains that dopamine isn't just about pleasure, it's about anticipation. In fact, we often get a bigger dopamine surge from thinking about the drink than from the drink itself. And I want you to really hear that, okay? Because a lot of times I think people believe that it's the alcohol itself that's creating the big dopamine spike. It's actually all the thinking about drinking. That anticipatory is where dopamine really amps up. Yes, you get a dopamine hit when you take the drink, but it's even bigger when you are thinking about and anticipating drinking. She calls this the wanting versus the liking problem. Over time, we want alcohol more, even as we like it less. And this explains why you might find yourself reaching for a drink out of habit, even when you're not really enjoying it. And the good news here is that awareness of this gap between what we expect alcohol to deliver and what it actually does, again, creates room for change. Dr. Lembke also emphasizes dopamine balance. When we overindulge in pleasurable substances like alcohol, we tip the scales. Our brain compensates by down-regulating dopamine receptors, which leads to lower baseline levels of pleasure. And that's why taking breaks or planning lighter weekends can actually recalibrate your brain's reward system. It gives your dopamine time to reset. So if you're curious about why you might crave more alcohol around the holidays, it's not a moral flaw. It is dopamine dynamics, literally. And the good news is, again, that you can retrain your brain. Now, let's say it happens. You overdrink this weekend. What now? Right? First, you're not starting over. This is not we are not back to ground zero. We are not back to day one. You are not off the path. You are simply collecting data. And here's what I recommend. Ask yourself, what was I thinking just before I decided to drink off plan? We have to remain accountable to ourselves, right? We have to say to ourselves, I chose to drink off plan. It wasn't the alcohol that did it to me. It wasn't because my friend handed me a drink, right? Because I still chose to drink it. Ask, what need was I trying to meet? What did I think I was going to get from the glass? What was I wanting? How was I wanting to feel differently? And ask yourself, what could I do differently next time to meet that need in a new way? No, thanks, I'm good. How about just reminding ourselves that I'm good? This is what I call drinking over versus over drinking, right? It's the event that has already happened. What happens now is how you frame it and what you choose to do next. And so we want to set ourselves up for success. We want to be compassionate and curious, and we want to learn and take a better action the next time around. Holidays are a powerful mirror for your beliefs. They bring up old cues, yes, and they also bring up new chances to think on purpose. You don't need to avoid social events or fear going to the neighborhood barbecue. You just need to bring your awareness with you, and that is your most powerful tool. So whether you plan to drink or not, I want you to create a plan ahead of time. I want you to support yourself, set yourself up for success, and remember that no single drink or not drinking defines your success. This is all about creating a lifestyle that aligns with your long-term goals, and you are becoming someone who builds a life where alcohol is just simply a non-factor, and that life is built on one conscious choice at a time. Now, if this episode resonated with you, I would love for you to share it with a friend, leave a review. You can also join our private Facebook group, The Alcohol Minimalists, Change Your Drinking Habits. And that's where we go a little deeper on all of this. I will link in the show notes the episodes for Dr. Judd Brewer and Dr. Anna Lemke. Both are really great resources for all things regarding habit change. And I again, both books and those podcast interviews are worth listening to and reading. Oh, Memorial Day, here we come. Summer, here we come. And until next time, my friends, choose peace. Thanks for listening to the Alcohol Minimalist Podcast. Take something you learned from this week's episode and put it into action. Changing your drinking habits and creating a peaceful relationship with alcohol is 100% possible. You can stop worrying, stop feeling guilty about overdrinking, and become someone who desires alcohol less. I work with people in 2 different ways, and you can learn about them over at my website. Go to www.mollywatts.com/workwithme, or reach out to me directly. Shoot me an email, molly@mollywatts.com. We'll jump on a call and decide what might work best for you. This podcast is really just the beginning of our conversation. Let's keep it going. If there's one thing I know, it's that change is way easier when you stop trying to do it alone.